And now, for your listening pleasure, I present to you, live on the Overdose Talk Network, it's the Geek for All Show.
It's live now!
Hey people, how's it going? I am your host, Geekmeister of the Geek for All. With me is my faithful co-host, Professor Weird Fuck.
Thank you. And we've got some guests with us tonight.
Yes, we do. We've got a couple of guests on our panel tonight. First up, we got Mr. Bill. Bill, how's it going, buddy?
Pretty fantastic.
Alrighty. Why don't you just introduce yourself a little bit? Just give us an idea of what you're into, what makes you qualified to be talking here about geeky and nerdy subjects. Oh, hang on. Sorry, people.
Whoopsies.
Small technical difficulties here.
I'll fix this.
Alrighty, I'm gonna say start off with love me some anime, some video games. That's probably the main focus for me.
Okay.
Yeah, and Dungeons and Dragons as well as other tabletop games.
Excellent. All right, and also with us we have the lovely Samantha. Hi, how's it going?
Hi guys, how's it going?
All right. So tell us a little bit about yourself. What are you into? What qualifies you as a nerd?
Mostly literary nerd, I think. Harry Potter, obviously Dungeons and Dragons too, Marvel, basic, pop culture, stuff like that.
Excellent. Fantastic. All right. Well, let's get down to business. First off, right off the bat, I want to give a shout out to a local artist here, Lolo Papakopoulos. He is a very, very talented artist around here, and he has got a monthly magazine, I guess you would call it.
It's a zine.
It's a zine. Is that how you?
That's what the kids would call it.
That's what the kids would call it. It's a zine. He's got a zine that comes out monthly called Friends in Low Places. And oddly enough, this month it's going to be very appropriate for our kind of crowd. The cover is is entitled Nerdcore. They're going to be interviewing a comic book shop owner, a former person who wrote for DC and Marvel. I'm sorry, a concept artist who worked for both DC and Marvel, and a couple other people in there as well. So shout out to him and Friends in Low Places. Be on the lookout for that if you are in the Chicagoland area.
Or if not, just go on the website. You would be able to check them out on Facebook at Guttergrin Twins Publishing, or their website inlowplaces.com.
Thank you very much. All right. Okay, so first thing right off the bat, we got to talk about is the big news that broke today about Daredevil Season 2.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Yes. It is. It's a pretty big story actually here. We have the nemesis for Daredevil Season 2, and it is the Punisher.
You see, that's
Yes.
a very interesting concept.
Yeah.
Because they're both they're both vigilantes.
I think it's interesting that it's the nemesis, like he's going to be the antagonist of it when he's considered an anti-hero.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they're both kind of anti-heroes.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you could also, in
is
some effects, you could think the Kingpin is an anti-hero. He eventually means well, but more in like a Hitler-esque type of way.
I see him more as just a violent sociopath. Maybe that's just me.
Well, I mean, aren't we all violent sociopaths deep down inside?
Sometimes.
I like to think not.
Well, you'd be wrong, Sam. You'd be wrong.
The actor whose name is John Bernthal is going to be playing Frank Castle, a.k.a. The Punisher.
Sorry, who?
You'd know him from, he's Shane on Walking Dead.
Oh, God.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Really? He's the Punisher.
The Walking Shane.
He is
The
Walking Shane is now going to be the Walking Punisher. So that's going to be really exciting. Actually, I'm really looking forward to this because as the professor here points out, they're both vigilantes. But they're very different kinds of vigilantes. Daredevil has this whole moral code similar to the Nolan Batman. Doesn't kill people, maims and injures, but doesn't take people's lives. Whereas the Punisher is all about killing people or just dueling out whatever punishment is necessary. So the dynamic between the two, I think, is going to be actually really interesting because I think they're going to see eye to eye on a lot of things just kind of, are on different sides of a very thin line.
I'm really excited about it, and with how good the first season was of Daredevil, it was really good, especially the choreography and each fight scene.
Absolutely.
However, are you aware that the writer for the first season walked?
I believe it.
I actually hadn't heard that news myself.
Yeah.
This is actually something I can't go off like straight up fact.
This is
rumor. This is rumor, I guess you can say, but I'm pretty sure that the original writer for the first season is walking.
That's
facts we can check, but
there could be an upside to that because
it could. It's not necessarily a bad thing. I understand that. But it's just that I'm a little bit worried because the writing in the first season was awesome.
Yeah.
I have my qualms.
Yeah, I mean,
okay. He goes out into Hell's Kitchen, New York, and accosts a gang of criminals, and one of them has a gun, and all 9 of them know kung fu. There's just a disconnect there for me. Like, what I don't.
Might I bring up
firing
the
line.
Foot Clan?
The Foot Clan
from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Ninjas in the city of New York. It's been done before.
All right. So,
but then again, actually, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles originally was written to make fun of Daredevil. Now that I think about it, it goes full circle.
Wow! Look at that! Look at that! Okay, yeah. But that's some very exciting news in the world of Marvel, and we're not done there in the world of Marvel. I think it's been about a week now that we have had the Captain America Civil War lineup.
Ooh, right on.
And so I want to take a minute to talk about that. Some notable people who are not going to be showing up. We do not have a Hulk. Bruce Banner will not be appearing in this film.
That makes sense if you saw Avengers 2, how they
Yeah.
we
don't want to give spoilers yet. We're going to give anyone who hasn't seen it yet, like maybe another month before we get really into spoiling Avengers 2.
I actually saw it yesterday for the first time.
Like every episode of the old Incredible Hulk TV show.
It really did, man. Like, no, and it doesn't give away much either, but I mean, like, yeah, no, that is exactly the feeling that you're left with there at the end, for sure. And I believe the other person we're not going to be seeing, which also sort of makes sense to a certain degree, is Thor. I don't believe is going to be making an appearance either. But other than that, we have got bloody everybody in this film. This is
Spider-Man. I thought I heard a rumor.
I don't think they've confirmed that yet.
No, they've definitely
they're trying to figure out his solo movies, I think.
Well, it's
because they're getting
contracts
rid of
to different production companies.
Yeah, they're getting rid of Andrew Garfield.
Yeah.
Good.
Oh, I like him.
Because Marvel has the rights to Spider-Man now.
He was a great Spider-Man, but was a terrible Peter Parker.
I thought he was all right. I mean, he wasn't as nerdy as Tobey Maguire was, but
who
Tobey's
was
a good Peter Parker.
And shitty Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Oh, can I swear? Is that?
Yeah, no, this is definitely the
Okay, good.
warning right now, people. For if I did not make that clear, I tried to give that flavor off initially, but this is definitely an adult talk show. We're going to swear. We're going to bring up adult context situations.
We're going to bring up superheroes and their genitalia.
We are. We're. I mean, if Superman's penis doesn't get talked about tonight, we're not doing our jobs right. So, fair warning, everybody. Okay. For me, the most exciting thing that's on this list is we're going to have our Black Panther, and he's going to be played by Chadwick Boseman, who I didn't recognize the name at first either, but I recognize the actor. He's not necessarily stand out. He's been in the movie 42, Get On Up, and Draft Day. He kind of floats around various places, and once you see him, you know his work, and very talented guy, and I think he's going to bring a lot to that performance, and I'm just excited in general for Black Panther because I think that's a very, very nifty superhero that I don't think for a long time had even been considered for something like this. And what's also also just very exciting about the the Marvel Cinematic Universe at the moment is that we're getting all of these weird side characters. We're getting Ant-Man.
Well, that's the thing about Ant-Man too. They're kind of low on the gun there because Ant-Man was one of the original founders of the Avengers.
No, that's what's beautiful about this is that they're acknowledging what's actually popular and what people know, but still trying to kind of tie everything back to the original context of where this all started in the comic books, which I think is great. And what's also great is that they're not trying to burden themselves with doing the comic book stories exactly. They're focused more on creating their own stories that honor the original comics, but don't necessarily have to stick too tightly to it. And on that note, which makes me wonder, with Captain America: Civil War, if for those of you who haven't read the comics, there's a sort of tragic end to all of this, and I don't think this would even be spoilers to just like kind of let you know ahead of time that Captain America is gonna die. If you didn't know that by context of the comic books, the way to know that is that he's up. His contract is done, and this is his last Marvel movie. So we're definitely going to be seeing the end of Steve Rogers.
You see, okay, I mean, if they kill him as Captain America, I might have a little problem with that.
Okay.
Because, I mean, Steve Rogers is supposed to, which they were kind of building up in all the movies, like Steve Rogers not trusting the government after a while, like especially during like...
Especially after Winter Soldier with all the...
Oh,
shield,
yeah. Oh, yeah. And he eventually stops being called Captain America and becomes Nomad. And then what's his name? Bucky becomes Captain America.
Well, I
and
think
then
that's what
about to say, I think.
They're opening that, and I think that's what they're opening that door to is to Bucky, because I'd imagine he would be in this one.
yeah, that's
Bucky is definitely in. The Winter Soldier is in the lineup for sure.
So maybe they might even play it off as Steve kind of losing, like we see that he's lost hope in the government and lost hope in S.H.I.E.L.D. and all these things. So then if Bucky takes over as Captain America, which we know he does as canon, at least then Steve can kind of maybe become Nomad or do something else, or even maybe Chris Evans can show up on Peggy Carter, which got a second season.
Oh,
that's true.
Whether it's a flashback or something else.
That would be kind of nice, actually. I definitely would love to see some flashback because the environment of the first Captain America movie is fucking stunning. It really just captures the essence of the 1940s really, really well, and I love Peggy Carter for that reason too, because it continues that. I'd love to see the Steve Rogers character in that universe a little bit more. So some flashbacks in Agent Carter would be wonderful. That I'm hoping you're right on that one.
Well, it would be cool. But honestly, do you really think they're gonna do that?
I don't know.
I don't think they're gonna put Chris Evans in like a TV show. He's too much of an A-list actor.
On the other hand, for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. of all things, they got Samuel L. Jackson not once, but twice.
But that's all he does now.
Well,
He's
and
just...
they also got the woman who plays Sif, too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait.
Sift?
Sif?
Lady Sif from
Lady
Thor.
Oh, from
She was on
Thor.
the show.
The one who's
too.
always crushing on Thor, and Thor is just like
Right.
not interested at all.
I honestly
Okay.
think Marvel could pretty much do anything. They could ask any one of them to be on it, and they would do it without even being paid.
Well, okay. Well, I mean, like,
I think money might come into that.
depending on who you're
okay.
talking to. I mean, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., do you ever see Tony Stark coming in or Bruce Banner showing up or anything like that? No. It's just a little bit of fun.
I mean, yeah. I
In
mean, and it
between.
might be that Samuel L. Jackson is the only one who's going to play ball.
Come
that
on, that's
level.
all he does. Like nowadays, he's the guy that shows up and says "motherfucker" every once in a while and gets paid like too much money for it.
It's a good racket.
It is a good racket, man. I mean, he's definitely got some things going on.
Not saying I hate Samuel L. Jackson or anything. It's just Jesus, like that is all he has to do now. Like he's become that big of a name that he gets paid like maybe $1 million just to say I'm sick of these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane.
Yep, this is true. Well, on to other Chris's in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Chris Pratt has been quoted as saying that Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is going to be the greatest movie ever. Granted, I'm sure he's paid a hefty amount of money to say good things about Guardians of the Galaxy 2. However, this is a pretty bold statement, and obviously he wouldn't be contractually obligated to say something along the lines of greatest ever. So he is genuinely excited about this film, and Charles Gunn, the writer, when he finished it, immediately tweeted about it, very excited as well. Any thoughts here from the panel on what we might be expecting to see in Guardians based on rumors that you've heard or anything like that?
I just have my fingers crossed for some sweet-ass Thanos action.
Yeah, is he actually going to get off his
Is
ass this
Thanos
time?
going to fucking do something? This is a good
Well,
question.
he's been cryptic. That's not much, but it's something.
You know what? Granted, yeah.
Well, wasn't there a rumor too that Chris Pratt knew who Star-Lord's father was? I think I saw an article about that somewhere, that he had kind of like leaked, not necessarily who he was, but like was like, oh yeah, I know, and it's gonna come into play, and things like that. So we might get more backstory
I think so,
too.
because I think Gunn, the writer of the film, I think he talked to Pratt about the character developments that were going to be going on in the script.
Right.
See, I'm not well versed on Guardians of the Galaxy.
I don't
Straight
think
up
most
and
of us
most,
are.
forward.
Most people aren't.
But if there is a father of Star-Lord, like, shouldn't it be comic book canon? Shouldn't we already know? Couldn't we just Google who is Star-Lord's father and find out, like, right now?
That's the thing.
It's actually kind of up in the air.
Yeah,
in the canon.
that's the whole problem, is that immediately right off the bat there were rumors and like weirdly put statements by movie execs that that they were going to go a different direction than canon.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Okay. All right, they're making the money, and that's all right.
I mean, honestly, with Guardians of the Galaxy 2, I mean, nobody really read these comics. I mean, some people did.
No, this is one they can get away with pretty well. I mean, some of the comics that come on, would you have read Ant-Man or anything?
Oh, no way.
No.
When did the Ant-Man cut?
Oh,
comics?
wow.
A long time ago.
Then the farther back you go, the more likely I'd be to read it, because there's less internet and crazy shit going on to desensitize you to the bonkers notion of a man shrinking down to the size of an ant.
Right, but compared to all the superheroes that were coming around at the time, he was kind of pushed to the wayside.
You've got Batman and you've got Ant-Man. Which are you picking up? That's all I'm going to say.
Ant-Man, I fucking hate ceiling fans, man. I'd rather be Ant-Man. I don't know. that was a broken silence.
What?
It was weird. All right. Anyway, okay, cool.
But something about Guardians anyway is that it's kind of the first of its genre of like the humor Marvel. We've always had action, and like Iron Man's always had its funny points, or we've had funny moments, but it was billed as like the funny Marvel. It's supposed to be the humorous action. So we know it's going to be fun regardless of, what story it tells or how because we know then if anybody's caught up on S.H.I.E.L.D., I'm not going to spoil a lot of things, but it kind of ties into some of the things that happen in S.H.I.E.L.D. tie into things that are explained in Guardians.
Okay.
So,
well, and that's another thing too. Like with what's cool about the TV shows is they have like little Easter eggs in the TV shows that you would pick up. Other fans, like diehard fans, will pick up on if they go see the movies.
Right.
Me personally, I'm like gonna miss out on all of that because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. never really captivated me. The only like Marvel shows that get me going is probably just Daredevil right now. Daredevil was awesome. DC really needs to up their game. Arrow, it's a little too campy. I plan on giving it another shot, but Flash I really want to check out. I still haven't checked out Flash.
Mm-hmm. Didn't Flash start as a peripheral character on Arrow? And
he was
then
a spinoff.
Yeah.
They cast him. He did a spinoff pilot, and then they gave him his own as kind of a jump off to his own show, to introduce him. And they do a bunch of crossover things. Like a lot of the finales are crossover. Like they do one where he's with Arrow and then Arrow shows up in his show, and they kind of bump back and forth a lot too.
This is how DC is going to try to fast track like Justice League.
Yeah, because they're kind of behind.
More
they're a
onto
step
that
behind.
later.
Well,
Marvel.
which is why here's what I keep saying about DC. Guys, you already lost this race. You got to wait for another race to happen. You got to wait for everyone to forget about all these Marvel movies and let the hype go over. And yeah, I'm talking about like waiting a decade. Like this is exactly what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
You need to wait and just hold your time and bide your time and just know that you've got enough money to hang on for a long period of time and then do your movies, because this trying to catch up when you're this far behind is just not going to fly.
Well,
Or they need to do something new. I'm tired, and we're gonna get to Superman later, but I'm tired of the Batman. I grew up on the George Clooney, Val Kilmer. I grew up on those movies, and I love them because they're so campy and the Tim Burton stuff and everything like that. But goddamn, if I gotta have one more fucking Batman movie, I'm gonna kill myself. I'm so tired of it. Like, I almost don't want to see Justice League because I'm tired of seeing Batman. I'm tired of seeing Superman, and we're gonna get Superman again later. But I think they need to do something different. Whether
I agree.
it's, because Marvel, I'm gonna get on a little bit of a feminist rant. Whether it's focusing on the women, focusing on something different that's not just the two main money makers, because nobody cares anymore. I don't personally care. I would rather have a Wonder Woman movie than another Batman movie or another Superman movie.
Yeah.
I
I
agree.
mean, honestly, I think the problem nowadays is that we just need new heroes.
Exactly.
I am sick of
Yeah.
all of these heroes. And I think modern heroes nowadays need to be anti-heroes. Just like all of them need to be anti-heroes.
I disagree.
Well, okay, it would be boring if they were all anti-heroes. That's true.
Let's touch back up on this when we get to the main topic later, because actually this is some good side tangent for what we're ultimately going to be talking about here in a little while.
That's true.
Just real quick, I don't have the exact quote up here in front of me, but shockingly, Hugh Jackman is being vague about whether or not he's going to be in the Deadpool film. Is pretty much what the next piece here amounts to. It's not a yes, it's not a no. Like, yeah, he wants to, but there's like, they keep calling it scheduling problems.
Well, I mean, didn't he say that he's only going to do cameos from now on? Like, he's doing one more like Wolverine-driven film, and then he's only going to do cameos from now on, kind of like how Robert Downey Jr. is doing that.
Right.
But like now he's saying, oh, maybe I want to be in this Deadpool movie. Like maybe they'll have him in as a cameo, as a joke. Maybe Deadpool will kill Wolverine, and like I'll just laugh my ass off. Or
I mean, that'd be good.
or he'll just show up and say "fuck off" again, just like in X-Men First Class.
That was one of the highlights of that movie.
Exactly.
And I love that they wasted their one swear on just that scene.
Yeah,
How
on
is
him.
it
Yeah.
waste? I'm sorry.
Well, not waste. Okay, they used their one swear to make it so it wasn't R-rated for that one scene that was just this gem. But I honestly, it's the same thing we were just talking. I'm tired of these superheroes. I love Wolverine. I do. I like the movies. As much as everyone's like, oh, I hate Origins. I liked Origins. I thought it was, a thing. Obviously, Deadpool,
Well, I mean, Deadpool's going to be amazing. That's another
the
thing.
Deadpool
they don't
movie's
have a
gonna be
movie.
amazing.
They don't have
Right.
a movie for Deadpool. They don't have a movie for Ant-Man. This is why I'm kind of glad that they're doing these unknown heroes like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right,
Like it's
exactly.
cool because it's not the same stuff we've heard over and over again. Everyone in this room knows the backstory of Peter Parker, his origins like the back of their hand, I bet. And Bruce Wayne. Like
and Superman.
and yeah, we'll
Yeah.
get into that later. We really want to tear into him.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, it's kind of half the reason I created the show. It's all just a ploy to get on the air and trash Superman. Now, so shifting gears here a little bit off of movie and comic book. In the world of games, Nathan Fillion has been in the last 3 Halo games as a voice actor, and is now going to be featured as an unhelmed Spartan that you will see the likeness of Nathan Fillion in. Which is kind of honestly, I don't know how to feel about this. I'm a little bit behind on the Halo games. I kind of gave up after 3, like I think
Same.
a lot of other people.
Yeah.
But it is interesting that this is like, I guess, their move to try to regain credibility is to, because I mean that's been a trend that's been happening for the last 6 years maybe now, is that get big stars into your game to try to get the hype up a little bit. And it seems, interesting that they're continuing to push forward. I mean, I guess it's working. Halo sales are still good enough to where they're still making games. So maybe there's something,
Or
to this.
remastering quote unquote games with the Master Chief Collection, which they only remastered like half of it, and some of it didn't work and whatever.
Microsoft, what do you want?
It's something that works.
But I've seen Nathan Fillion's a big, Halo nerd and everything like that. So I'm sure it's just he's doing a lot of voice acting with video games. He's doing the Firefly video game.
Nathan
everything like that,
Fillion.
too.
They're doing. Wait, who is Nathan?
Nathan Fillion is a fucking Firefly. What's his name? I can't.
Malcolm Reynolds.
No,
Captain.
Mel. Thank you.
Mel.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Right. I'm totally down for.
No, yeah,
For all
he's
of that,
he is
yeah.
awesome.
Right.
I fucking hate Halo. Maybe Nathan Fillion will save it because I'm really sick of all these people. I feel like Halo is like a bro gamer's game. Just because like it's not that intriguing storyline wise. Master Chief is a shitty character, is a monotonic, just
I'd say less bro-tastic game. It still has bro elements, but I'd say definitely more like just middle schooler or high schooler game. Like it's just like generic
it's the
testosterone.
shit talker game.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the
Yes.
shit
So
talker game.
preteen bro game, is that what we're kinda
Yeah, there you
talking
go.
here?
Sure, yeah. It's
And
just
I
like
thoroughly
I have
enjoy
my
it.
puberty and I'm mad as hell and I don't know how to express it.
Let me yell cuss words at some guy in Britain.
I'm 12 years old and I'm gonna say how I fucked your mom.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta love Halo.
Indeed. Okay, so now the really big game news that everyone's been buzzing about here for like the last week. We finally have the Fallout 4 trailer. Jimmy, could you jump on and post that onto the Facebook page for
Fallout
anybody?
4,
for anybody who's going to be playing along home. We don't have visual here, but you'll be able to hear the audio. And here we go with the Fallout 4 trailer. Hang on.
It says please stand by.
It does. We should have. Hang on. Something. We're having technical difficulty here. We definitely should have had sound on that. Let me see if there's something wrong here on my end.
I'm not getting any signal. You gotta have the volume down somewhere.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, bloody hell. It's on the video itself. That would explain it. All right. Sorry, folks. Let's try that again. And once again, we're watching the Fallout 4 official game trailer.
Peggy 18.
Peggy 18.
It's all over, but the cry.
With the world poised on the brink of war, Vault-Tec is reporting a record number.
Crying, but me.
Folks, it seems we've got some breaking news. Stand by.
It's all over. No, I'm trying.
For those of you who can't see this right now, which is everyone, yeah.
We have a German Shepherd.
Yeah, we got a German Shepherd crawling through an abandoned house that's
We
clearly
seem to
been
have lost
bombed.
contact with our affiliate
It's
stations.
flashing back and forth
Stand
between
by.
that and when the house was standing and people were in it.
We do have.
We're also hearing that voice you're hearing
We do
is.
have coming in confirmed reports of nuclear detonation.
There you go. Yeah, it's obviously a news person.
My God.
It's a post-apocalyptic future,
Marshall
guys.
is right.
Fallout? Really?
War
Elder Scrolls with guns.
never changes.
Breaking out of the vault. The vault number we got in this game is going to be
111.
111. Of course, if you've been following along with this whole thing, we're going to be in Massachusetts area, centered around MIT. And they're just kind of showing overlay views. The graphics do look very nice.
There's a lot more color in the scope than
Yeah,
there is another Fallout.
very,
game.
very much so.
I really like that.
A lot less gray.
Yes, yeah.
But there's also a cinema, not gameplay, so I can't really say that for certain.
That's one of the big things. I've watched the trailer before, and that was one of the big things I was going to say altogether about it. Is that
look at
there's
that.
not much in the way of showing what this game's going to really be like. But
Let's go, pal.
we do have that.
It's a man and his dog. So you get a dog this time. So it's like Fable 3
Again.
or Fable 2.
You got
Fable
a dog.
2
You've
and
always
3?
had dogs. You get dogs in
Fable
both
1?
of them. Well,
In
you get
Fallout
dogs
3, you got a-
Yeah, you got a
and
dog.
in Vegas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It
All
depends
right.
on the dog. In Fallout 3, it was Dog Meat, who's also a German Shepherd. Which my boyfriend wants a German Shepherd and wants to name it Dog Meat now. And then in Vegas, you get, I don't think he's a German Shepherd, but I don't remember the dog's name, but he's got like the brain dome. So his head's cracked
right.
open, and he's part of. If you see the faction that's got the Elvis impersonators,
Right,
he's
right.
the leader's dog, and you get him later.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So you always get a dog, but I think it's interesting that they're kind of, there was a lot of speculation. They're like, oh, how are they going to do this? Because there's a ton of these new games, like we were just talking about Halo, or all these games that are doing remastered, and we're going to do this again. So some people were thinking, well, maybe it's going to be, it's going to be Fallout 1, but it's going to be remastered or something like that. But it looks completely different, and they're doing Boston and
Innovation.
And then the very interesting thing is the little tiny tease that they give you at the end, where your character says, "Come on, boy." Up until this point in the Fallout games, we've never heard a voice from the character.
Yeah.
Oh, it's been a Link kind of thing.
It's always been, exactly. It's always been that silent protagonist thing going on, and it looks like we might actually have voiced characters. And on top of that, based on this, with them, flashing back and forth between pre-bomb and post-bomb, it means that the story is going to be really heavily focused around what happened before the bomb, which I think is going to be great. I would love some more explanation about that, because they always left it very vague, which was effective for the games that they did that for. But now we're getting on to the fourth title in the series.
This is going to be more of a prequel game, probably just like right after.
No, it takes place 10 years after Fallout 3, I think.
Yeah, I think it just delves into, you wind up looking into the past of everything. You uncover
Well,
what really happened.
You said it was centered around MIT, so
Yeah.
I mean
Yeah.
that's just a blank check for like Venture Brothers style super science crazy noise.
Right. Yeah. Well put. Exactly. The things that I'm ultimately disappointed, though, is that obviously, as we were all watching, there is absolutely no gameplay in this trailer. Which might just mean that it's just not ready to be viewed yet, and they wanted to come out with something.
Just to say, hey, we have something.
We have something.
Right, especially
this
with
is a
E3
possibility.
coming up.
My one concern is that, are we looking at more or less just another installment of Fallout 3 with a different story? Which, I mean, wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but I am hoping that, we're going to be looking at some mildly different gameplay. Ultimately still feels like what we're used to in a Fallout game at this point. But, playing around with the mechanics and making it fresh somehow is always good when you're adding a new sequence into your series. And so I'm wondering what they've got in store with that.
Is it bad? I really just like the aesthetic of Fallout, like the radio where it's got the 1950s. I'm a big 1950s.
No,
fan.
it's awesome.
But like the radio where it plays the 1950s music, but it's got this backdrop of this apocalypse, because that was a huge thing. Was right after World War II. That's when the apocalypse genre really took off, because during Cold War and everything like that, everyone was afraid of these big bombs. And so the fact that they kind of play off that, and the fact that this trailer specifically really hones in on that dichotomy of, you've got this, which, Pleasantville, 1950s, perfect, world, and then you've got the apocalypse, and I love it so much.
That's the American dream, right there.
Exactly.
I mean,
And then the destruction of it.
White picket fence and the brand new car in the 1950s, all blown up.
Yep.
That's the American dream.
Certainly my American dream.
As long
we
as
were robbed of it.
Speaking of American dreams, obviously one of the great American dreams is to get famous and to get known and get recognized. And with that in mind, it's interesting that we find that apparently somebody is opening up a hall of fame for video games.
Oh, I actually on Facebook saw a post about vote for what game should be in, and
Oh, I can be on board with that. Galaga for sure should be in that thing.
I don't recall off the top. I know Pac-Man got in, Tetris, World of Warcraft, and those are the only ones I remember.
That was the one that made me really mad, is that...
well, the player base, and in terms of innovation, I could see why they put it in there, but still not going to play
Alan,
it.
I'm making the universal sign for telephone at you, as in give the phone number out to the people who are listening.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you had somebody on the line or not or something, because I have you been out in a couple of posts. So
Give the number out.
Okay. Let's see here.
630-599-7827. 630-599-RUBS. RUBS. That's 630-599-7827. Call in the Geek for All show.
Thank you, our producer Vinny, keeping on top of my ass because I am new to this whole fucking thing and an idiot. So
Your words.
True.
My sentiment.
So we've got this Hall of Fame, and that was the first thing that I noticed though, right off the bat, is that we have World of Warcraft in there, and I get why it's in there, but really,
Well, isn't it? It's the large. I mean,
It
it's
was. the
given
largest
its
got
game
the
for a
most
while.
likes. Like
Well,
it's
no,
one of
it's-
those
Yeah,
games. It's one of those games. Hypothetically speaking, or metaphorically speaking, I should say, it's the like has the most likes games. You know.
Well, beyond that, there was a whole lot of innovation. Like their server algorithms have been some of the best in the business since it came out.
right. There's a reason
how
it's one of the
they're-
most played video games in the world.
I mean, I get that. It's like there's a reason why I stay away from online RPGs.
Because you have friends.
Exactly.
well, yeah, you know.
But even Skyrim, I play Skyrim. I've stopped playing it for a while. Like I like took a
And all your friends came back.
Yes, exactly. Like
You know that feel, bro.
you'll play it for like 8 hours, and for what?
Well, there's boxes and caves
And
there's
thieves
locks that can be
guilds
picked.
and
more boxes in other games. I mean, come on.
the Brotherhood and shouting things off things,
And then come the mods.
and then the mods.
I have to wonder, like, you know, because we have a music hall of fame, we have a baseball hall of fame, all this stuff. Especially with the music hall of fame, it's a lot of, I don't want to say elitism, but it's a lot of, oh, well, they're not qualified because they replaced their drummer back in 1985.
That is kind of stupid. I mean, if you're talking about like Rock and Roll Hall of Fame,
Right, you know.
I mean, one of the biggest shockers for me ever is when Sex Pistols were inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Like, how does that make sense?
I think it was
I
just
mean,
done to annoy them, frankly.
I mean, that's cool and all. They have they deserve a certain amount of respect, but I don't know about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I mean, it doesn't seem fitting for what their whole thing was about.
Oh, yeah,
either,
Right.
so,
Well, I
like,
mean, they were kind of a band put together, like they weren't as punk as people think.
No, I mean, no. About the most punk thing that they ever did is their famous move of following the Queen on her birthday and singing "God Save the Queen" at
Oh,
her.
yeah.
I mean, which, don't get me wrong, really fucking punk rock, but that was about as hardcore as they got. There were far more crazy bands, but that's a whole other subject for a whole other show.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so the game I finally brought up the list here. The games that are in the Hall of Fame, at least in this first run, are Doom, Pac-Man, Pong, Super Mario Brothers, Tetris, and World of Warcraft.
Pong.
It's the
Yes.
first video game. It's, yeah.
I mean, I guess.
I actually, I agree with that list. Yeah, I'd say the bottom of the list is World of Warcraft, though. Like for the
Can you
least
repeat that
deserving
for me
among
real
them all.
quick?
I'm
sorry.
It's Doom, which I totally get.
Doom, I agree with.
First
be
person
there.
shooter has
Doom,
to be there.
yes. Of
Pac-Man, obvious.
Waka waka, bitch.
course. Mhm.
Pong, first video game, so you know. Super Mario Brothers, duh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tetris, I mean, that's pretty hard to argue with.
that dominated the early '90s, and the Game Boy was like dominated. The
Oh
video
yeah,
game sales market.
100%. But yeah, and then World of Warcraft.
So it's just pretty much picking. Well, I don't know why no Final Fantasies are in there. And like World of Warcraft,
Having to pick a single Final
Final
Fantasy is, I
Fantasy
think, the
VII.
That
issue.
might be the.
That might be
That
the
would be
number
the
one.
one.
But in terms of sales, not the top. And with Final Fantasy, it's like everyone has their favorite. Granted, 7's probably the most popular among fans, but everyone has their like, no, this is the one. And usually between 6 and 10.
it's
Anywhere in
it's
there.
kind of funny. Like what I was gonna bring up that I totally forgot to bring up is like the whole Fallout when he said like, oh, your character. We were talking about how your character might have a voice. Remember how exciting it was when Final Fantasy X came out?
Oh, and people actually spoke?
People actually spoke, and they were actually like the size of people and not little short chibi.
I totally miss the hoof hands of Final Fantasy VII. They just take that cube and smack it onto a sword, and then the sword would come with it. It was fantastic.
Good times.
Good times indeed. Okay, our last story here is from USA Today, and it is about that Amazon is apparently planning on taking a bigger step in the gaming world.
I mean, they have their fingers in everything else, so why not?
Yeah.
What would you define as a bigger step? Like like console development, funding for development of games themselves? What
See, they've been a little bit vague about that. Ouch. Let's see here. But they're looking at basically they are. Oh no, here it is. Okay, sorry. The top of that was vague. They're creating their own game studio essentially. And they're in the midst of controller design, as a matter of fact. So I think this would kind of be
so
like...
they are going console development.
I don't know about console. I think from what it looks like here, it seems like a Steam thing.
Okay. That actually could be quite the partnership there, because Valve has such a good digital distribution and DRM network, and then Amazon is, as a global distributor, between the two, there's very few places on this earth you couldn't get your nerd on.
Well, like what we were talking about, I mean, we were talking about a little bit about this earlier. I mean, Amazon's a really good idea, like good company to go through as far as funding and distribution goes, because they do everything.
Mm-hmm.
You got
And
college
everywhere.
kids going to Amazon for ebooks or books in general, for textbooks, and using it for everything. Like there's Amazon Prime now. I know some people who don't have Netflix. They have Amazon Prime. And
I was about to ask what it is, but now I can assume it's
it's
Netflix,
not,
like,
but it's not even just movies. Like you can rent books or live
Music.
stream books or music. Like it's
really that
all
I actually
media.
enjoy.
It's pretty cool. It's just I have Netflix through a third party, and I'm free to get it for free. So.
And I'm sorry, we have one tiny bit of tidbit before we take our break. The very last thing here is just, it's a minor note, kind of a fun little detail. Just yesterday, Elder Scroll Online and Lego's Jurassic World hit online stores, and both have exploded. Like they're already leading the charge based on last week's sales for grossing the highest this week. So if you're looking to download new games, apparently the suggestions are either Lego Jurassic World or if you're into online RPGs, Elder Scrolls Online.
I never understood the hype of Lego video games.
Yeah, but they make bank.
They
They
do.
do.
They make
They
bank.
do, but it's like anytime I see a Lego video game, it's like, oh, that's stupid.
They're-
and walk
They're-
away.
They're just
They're-
silly fun that anybody can buy. Is
Exactly.
the thing.
It's
like
like-
They're nice beginner games. They don't take a whole lot of hand-eye coordination
or thought.
or thought.
Or
But they're in depth though. They're very in depth. And
Oh,
they
yeah,
encompass
no, I
everything.
know.
There's one thing I
Collectibles out the
noticed.
asshole.
I'm sorry to bring up Batman. I know how much you're sick of Batman, Sam. But my nephew, I was babysitting him one time, and he had the Lego Batman video game, and he was Robin. He was playing Robin, and I was playing Batman. And you get to choose which Batman you are. The Batman I chose was like the old school comic Batman, like Bob Kane Batman. He had a gun in a kid's game. Like Batman pulls out a gun and shoots
Pop,
you.
pop, motherfucker.
Because that is kind of canon until he killed someone.
Yep.
I think the thing about the Lego games is that they encompass everything. There's a Lego game for almost everything nowadays. There's Lord
And
of the Rings,
because of the way
Pirates.
that they do their business, they've already got marketing rights for a lot of this stuff. So
Right.
it's
Exactly,
really easy to
'cause
go
It's
ahead
really
and just do a
easy.
game.
It makes
And they're
sense.
going to find an audience for every single game they put out. You want Jurassic Park? Okay, cool. Your kids are into Pirates of the Caribbean or Star Wars. Cool. You've got
Yeah.
that Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings. I don't think I could name a fandom that
Yeah,
doesn't have
yeah,
a Lego
yeah.
game.
You know
the
what?
Lego movie has a Lego game.
Yeah. Oh my God.
They
Wow.
cover all the bases.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lego commercial.
Here's the thing. I love Legos. Legos are awesome, but I think kids nowadays don't play with actual Legos. They only play with Lego video games.
That makes me a sad panda.
I don't know. The population at the Lego store on a regular Saturday night will say otherwise.
Is there a Lego store?
There's a bunch of Lego stores. There's a Lego
How do you
World.
not know this?
I know there's a Lego World, but I don't know
there's a
about the Lego store.
in a lot of
It's-
different malls.
It's
A
not
lot of
like
different malls. It's not like standalone stuff. It's always in malls.
It's not like
really?
my brother is like, all right, smoke me a kipper. I'm going to the Lego store. Be back before noon. Like,
Well, why not? That'd be awesome.
This is what happens
How
when you
often
live with a
does your
Lego
brother ask you
fanatic.
to smoke him a kipper?
too often,
Oh.
and that is legit.
All right, guys, we are right up here against our first break. For the next 10 minutes, I'm going to be giving you the lovely styling sounds of the local group Runaway 5, and yes, that is a reference to the Earthbound band. And so here is the Runaway 5.
Woo! Well, what do you know? That was Gray Matter by Runaway 5. That's
Indeed
one
it
of my
was.
favorites by them, actually, off of Ronald Reagan.
And
it's a good EP.
It is a good EP, and we were listening to the mixtape. You go to Bandcamp, runaway5.com, and go check them out. They're a really fun chiptunes / pop punk rock kind of group. A lot of fun. Really probably one of the better chiptunes acts that I've seen live, just because you've actually got a drummer and a guitarist on stage, so there's a lot more energy than you wind up with in normal chiptunes music.
It was cool. It was cool. It was cool. The first time I saw them actually was a Halloween show, and they were dressed up as Finn and Jake, and they use a Game Boy. They reprogrammed a Game Boy for their beats and stuff, so it was like Finn, Jake, and their BMO right there. It worked out perfectly.
That's fantastic.
And
All
I
right.
fell in love.
So we're going to be talking about Superman here in the next hour, and first let's start with just talking about Dawn of Justice.
Dawn of
Justice.
That's
AKA how I learned.
Or how I learned to stop bitching and love Ben Affleck.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know if I can do that.
I to be perfectly honest, I don't know if I can either. Let me just start with my first problem with this whole thing. It's taking place in the Man of Steel universe.
That was the most recent Superman film to come out.
Yeah.
Well, it can't take place in the Dark Knight universe because no one's not around anymore.
How about just do another universe? We all know
Well-
Superman and Batman. We don't need to do an origin story necessarily for them.
Well, it's not really being an origin story
Well,
for
no, but-
them. It's an origin story for the Justice League, and we do need an origin story for the Justice League.
Sure, but you don't have to do it out of a universe that's already been set up necessarily. I think you could totally get away
Why
with
not?
doing this film.
I mean,
why not? Because
Superman. Let's face it. As much as Superman does suck, which we'll get onto in a couple minutes here, he is the leader of the Justice League. It's debatable between him or Batman. I understand.
No.
that.
It's okay. It's definitely not debatable because Batman's never been a full-time member, so you can't really
That's
call
true.
him the leader. Everyone listens to him because he's the guy who
He knows what's good.
he knows what's up. He's the guy who got kicked out of the Justice League officially because he had a contingency plan for every single member of the Justice League.
That is nice.
But here's my thing about the Man of Steel universe is that it is full, and granted, this is mainly kind of a director thing more than a script thing, although the script for that movie wasn't exactly solid either. No. It has this usage of something that I refer to as dick splash logic.
Okay.
Please elaborate on this concept.
Let's talk about that.
It
I'm
was alien to me.
intrigued.
Okay, so at the very beginning of the movie, there's a bully giving young Clark Kent, a hard time, and he decided to call him a dick splash. And literally, the second he calls him dick splash, the camera cuts to the wheel of the bus exploding. And basically, it was the director not knowing that the way that he was telling that story visually, the kid saying dick splash caused the wheel to explode. Like, that's the way that it's actually filmed. You're
The
led
magic
to
words.
the magic
Like,
words
yeah, some
dick
magical
splash.
spell.
Instead of Shazam, it's Dick
But if that made
Splash.
people's heads explode when I called them Dick Splash,
No, that's a fucking superpower right
There
That'd be
you
amazing.
go. That'd be
Let's
pretty
write a
sweet.
comic, guys, called Dick Splash.
But the reason I say that the movie is just full of dick splash logic is there are tons of scenes that make no sense in very similar ways. The one that comes to mind in particular is that Zod comes and fucks up the Kent's farm.
Wait, Man of Steel was a Superman movie?
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was a sequel to Field of Dreams.
Oh,
Kevin Costner and shit.
Yeah.
it was actually filmed locally though. from us.
Yeah, I'm aware of that.
But
I did not
in
go
the
running
fields,
to be
actually.
an ex.
So yes,
If you build it, they will come to be extras in our shitty movie.
it's true.
But so Alan, you were
Continue.
But
Alex.
anyway, so he's fucked the farm. Zod has fucked the farm up, and he has thrown a truck into the house. The truck is still hanging out of like the ceiling / wall that he threw it into, and Martha Kent is kneeling below it, picking up pieces of glass as this fucking truck might fall at any minute, and nobody says anything about it.
No one said she was a wise one.
I mean, no, but here's the thing: Clark Kent shows up and like just starts talking to her underneath the truck, as though as though there isn't just a truck that could fall at any minute above her. And
He could easily spirit her away.
Yeah, he
in
could.
just that moment.
I mean, he is
that's-
Superman.
This is true, but I mean, still, you feel like you want to tell the person that you feel is like your mother, like, "Hey, mom, maybe you should like step to the right, like 5 feet or something like that," But I mean, and it's just like there's small things like this placed throughout the movie. Like every 5 minutes, you run into like this dick splash moment, as I like to call it, and if there's that lack of detail put into the Dawn of Justice, and I don't know. And again, we've got Batfleck. We've got Batfleck.
Okay.
Backflick? What?
Batfleck.
Darebat.
Oh, yeah.
Darebat.
Darebat.
Well, one of the plus sides, though, to using the Man of Steel universe for this new movie is, as like a foundation for the Justice League, is that they didn't really build a world in the new Superman movie. I mean, the America.
It was there. It was.
Well, I
just
mean, they
there.
built Krypton in the intro with all that
Yeah,
Russell Crowe
of
stuff,
course.
but I mean,
Yeah.
we all know the fate of that noise. So I mean, like, they didn't really flesh out the world. It didn't feel like a DC universe, so to say.
I'll
It
agree with
wasn't-
you there. There's definitely room for expansion. And
It
so,
wasn't like a
it's
big
more of a blank
opening
slate.
introduction or anything like that. It was just kind of like, you're the viewer, you're thrown into this world. Hey, you're supposed to just feel like this has been happening for years.
Yeah,
Like-
no, very
and
much
that's
so.
what they're gonna probably do with Dawn of Justice, because like Wonder Woman's gonna show up. It's gonna be like
Aquaman's
superheroes.
in it too.
Oh yeah, and Aquaman.
Okay.
What Khal Drogo from Game
No,
of
but
Thrones?
he's so cool though.
He's not. He's not gonna be.
He'll be in it. He's Aquaman.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
and he's
right
gonna have his own standalone in like 2017.
Okay.
I actually saw him speak at C2E2, and the way that he talked about Alan, you're talking about like details and things like that. The only saving grace, I think, is the details they're putting into Aquaman. I don't know if anyone's seen the promotional picture of him.
No.
But it's not the campy like orange, green scales, fishy kind of suit. It's
Oh, no,
very.
no.
They play a lot. It's very dark.
After
It's darker.
after the Justice League cartoon show,
Where
with
he
the
has-
super campy Aquaman. Where all
Well,
he does-
no, they have the Aquaman. He's not campy at all. He's actually more like a, Atlantean soldier, and he doesn't
That's
even.
a little bit more of it. Yeah.
He doesn't
I-
even have his hand. He has like a harpoon hook, like instead of one
that is
hand.
not the series I'm talking about.
Oh.
I'm talking about the classic with the Legion
The classic,
of Doom.
the classic. Oh, I
Yeah.
thought you were talking about the one that came out
Oh.
when like we were in
Oh.
like middle school.
Oh no, I never
That
saw
really
that one.
cool one.
I'm just saying,
it was
since,
awesome.
since that classic one when Aquaman was such a fucking mook, they've just really been going out of their way to throw him a fucking bone, they take these pretty cool, badass, brutal storylines and just work it into Aquaman,
There's this
which I'm okay with.
So that's our new Aquaman.
Oh, hey, he's pretty sexy.
He was talking about a lot of because he's Hawaiian, I think, nationality. I don't remember specifically, but they were talking about how, and he has a lot of, you can see if anybody's, obviously the listeners can't, but you can look him up real easy. His armor is that fish scale, but Jason Momoa also has a tattoo like that. So they took a lot of his cultural standings.
That's cool.
And it kind of integrated them into Aquaman. So I think it'll be interesting
really
to
cool.
see the origins, because I don't
So,
know
like,
a whole lot about DC.
That's cool that they're
Do you
going
know
to
the
like
story of Atlantis?
Yeah.
You know the story of Aquaman.
yeah, exactly.
So-
Like, really,
Exactly.
that's
It's like it's cool that they're
Oh,
going.
he's the
since
prince. That's all. That's the only other
It's-
bit you need to know.
It's
Right.
cool that he's
For the
not
foundation.
like blonde hair, blue eye,
No, he's not.
Aquaman. Like that's cool that they're going with a Hawaiian, like an island person type of thing.
I,
Because
makes
for one,
more
like
sense.
deep sea Nazis.
say what?
I, for one, love deep sea Nazis.
Well, I
don't
mean,
know
come
about
on.
you.
Oh, I don't think they did that yet. Let's write that too. They did
sea
Nazi. They did
Nazis.
Nazis at the center of the earth. They've done Nazis on the moon with Iron Sky.
20,000 leagues under the camps.
But as we're talking right now,
Oh, Holocaust
Captain
jokes.
Captain Nemo's worst nightmare. Nazi giant squid. But anyway, Superman.
Yeah, no. So Dawn of Justice is still to be seen ultimately as to whether or not it's going to be a good film. But what we can all agree on is Superman.
And wait, before we completely go on to there, I do have something to say about Dawn of Justice.
Okay, well, all right.
Batman. Everyone's kind of bitching about...
Oh, yeah, we haven't really fully addressed this.
Everyone's kind of bitching about two things about Batman in that trailer.
Ben Affleck?
Okay, three things. One, it's Ben Affleck. Two, when he talks, he's talking in like this kind of robotic type of voice. Okay, would you prefer that or throat cancer that everyone loves to make fun of?
No, I'll definitely take computer voice over cancer. Yeah,
I mean, come on, Bruce
agree.
Wayne's a billionaire. You don't think he would have done that to mask his voice?
Yeah, no, it
Just
makes sense.
like a voice changer over his face. So not only is he not revealing half of his face,
Although
he's trying to.
I think it would have been great though if he had made the technology to make himself just sound like Kevin Conroy.
Well, that would be cool.
That would be so much more badass.
That's best case scenario.
Yeah.
If the world
For
was
all of us.
perfect.
Yeah.
But we are not in a perfect world. So we're here. Also, people are also bitching that, like in the trailer where they're facing off, and you see Batman in this like metal. Why is he in like a robotic armor? Okay, well, first of all, he's about to go toe to toe with Superman, the Man of Steel, not human. And plus, you also see in the trailer that's not the costume he typically wears. You see his actual like Frank Miller style Batman costume in there.
Oh, okay,
that's
so
not going to work against Superman.
And
but
this
then
is-
also a throw to the like old TV show or the comic book. He has those fucking like the helmet has white all in his eyes. I'm sorry, that made me giddy as a child, like watching the old cartoon.
I have to
again.
admit is awesome.
And also,
do like
when
that.
he talks, he says, let me ask you, do you bleed? And then says, you will. Everyone's saying that might not be Batman. I'm sorry, it is Batman. It is canon from a comic book.
Oh yeah, no.
line for line.
No. It's,
When he
that's
throws down a
definitely
Superman?
Batman. Yeah. And the whole thing is in that I don't think it was quite as elaborate as they're making in this movie, but he had power armor in that comic as well, if I'm not very much
Yeah, but
mistaken.
then why?
He'd be an idiot not to.
Why is everyone like going?
Oh no!
why are-
I actually that is
It's the internet.
that's not my fear. My fear is
Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck, and most importantly, that Ben Affleck is going to try to prove himself too much. Actually, I think actually one of the worst things here is how much we've been key to just make fun of Ben Affleck being Batman right off the bat, because I feel like it's just gonna put him in the zone to overperform. And with Batman, the ultimate thing is you play Bruce Wayne, you let the suit play Batman.
Yeah.
That's how it rolls. That's how it works.
This is his last try. Like this is his last thing. Like if he fucks this
What's
up,
he's done.
He's done.
He's done. So that's my thing. If he
unless he does Mallrats
if
too.
he just
Well-
I mean, yeah, but that's not going to push his career anywhere. That's just going to be
No,
like
that's
if he doesn't do Mallrats 2, he's a douche.
It'll still do better things than the.
He
first
owes Kevin
Daredevil
Smith
movie.
He owes
lot.
Kevin Smith everything when a lot. Him and Matt Damon are the reason he has money right now.
That's true. Well, yeah, that's true.
I'm not saying he's untalented. I'm just saying he would be nowhere close to where he is today without those two by
That's
his
true.
side. Anyway, but getting on to the ultimate point here is that if he plays Bruce Wayne and just lets the suit play Batman, we're probably going to be okay. But if he tries to really do something with Batman too much and goes over the top with it, he could really wind up wrecking this whole thing.
Yeah, he could. No, definitely, it's a make or break situation because who's okay in the room here? Who are we looking forward to see in this movie if we even want to see this movie?
That guy right up on the screen right
Yeah,
there.
actually, I'm pretty down with Aquaman.
I can
oddly enough.
guarantee you. I don't
Okay.
care about the guy who plays Superman. I didn't even see Man of Steel. I want
It was
Well,
subpar.
that
okay.
or Wonder Woman. I want those two.
Well, I'm
Okay,
very
the question
excited.
wasn't what
for
you want in bed.
You're so funny.
You want to go to the phone for a second?
Oh, we got a call.
We got a caller?
All right.
Yeah, my name's Alex. Ben Affleck, the reason why they actually have him playing is they want him to help produce the Justice League.
Really?
Because
So they
Ben
want his
Affleck
money.
might be a sucky actor, but he's a pretty damn good director, and he's got a shit ton of money.
That's true.
This is true.
Very
They
true.
I had no
They
idea.
said they want a hold of.
Okay, well, I mean that's a very good point, but killing a franchise with his acting, if he does ruin Batman, wouldn't that be a bigger loss because no one will go to see these movies with his money towards
Right.
it.
They won't see it for Ben Affleck, okay? But nerds are going to go see it for Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman. I mean,
But Batman is the biggest one.
They're going to hate Ben Affleck. But look at what they did to X-Men 2, X-Men 3, the Spider-Man series. They've messed up multiple times. And what do nerds keep doing? We still keep going to see the movies.
Because we hope.
Yeah.
Because we hope.
Yeah, no, you make a
point.
fine point, sir. You make a
Good point,
fine
sir.
point.
Good point.
Because, like, the Hulk series, think about it. The first one sucked.
Oh yeah,
when the
without a
second
doubt.
one-
Yeah.
I mean, duh.
But yeah, also like the Incredible Hulk with Ed Norton, like that one was amazing. But even like
Redemption.
it was
What
Redemption, and yeah, that's what Ed Norton wanted to do. That's why he did the Hulk movie. He didn't want it to be a series. That's why Mark Ruffalo replaced him. But I honestly think Mark Ruffalo was a good replacement for him. Like almost.
I think that, like, he's the only replacement.
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly. What I liked about it is that the Hulk monster, actually has features of Mark Ruffalo in him, which the one in the Ed Norton movie didn't have features of Ed Norton. Mm-hmm. Which, yeah, I think that's why I think Mark Ruffalo made a better Hulk.
He also played in, like, with the Edward Norton one. They didn't focus on how, Bruce is a genius.
Right.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
Banner,
Yeah.
exactly.
Banner
yeah.
is a genius.
They do.
Mark Ruffalo does, like, the perfect job of that.
Oh yeah. Oh
Especially
yeah.
in like
Well,
Avengers
that's
2
why-
when they bring him in with all
Absolutely.
that stuff.
Yeah, they more focus on the Bruce Banner character than the Hulk, the big
Yeah.
guy.
Well, because what do you know? The Hulk isn't really a character.
No,
in and
you
of-
don't know. You know
Hulk smashed that character, start to finish.
exactly.
And he
Bruce
doesn't.
Banner's
And he doesn't
struggling
like
with
him.
it.
And he doesn't like Bruce Banner being brought up when he is the Hulk. That's the only other.
Wimpy Banner.
Yeah, Wimpy Banner is no good for Hulk. Well, okay. Well, thank you very much for your call. That's an excellent point. So we're probably still going to be looking forward to Justice League's movies, whether or not Ben Affleck does a bad job. Thanks again to Alex for calling in.
Thank you for having me, and your guys' podcast is fucking amazing.
Awesome. Thank you, Alex.
Oh, thanks.
Have a good night. Call again next time.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. Good.
Excellent. All right. Let's we've done enough about Dawn of Justice at this point. Let's get into the meat of this whole
Let's
thing.
focus on the asshole known as Clark Kent.
Clark motherfucking Kent.
Fuck Superman.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So here's the thing. I think it's important before we start ripping him to shreds. There's a couple of important things I think we should acknowledge just as a base for this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Superman is the first superhero. So
Oh yeah, he's the goody two shoes. Okay, it's like when superheroes first came. Let's think about it. It was our
Gilgamesh.
modern. Okay. Well, good. Yes, it's our modern day mythology. It was like it was the modern day mythology instead of Zeus and stuff. Again, we might need a little more weed for this one. Modern day mythology like Zeus or Hercules and stuff like that. Superman was the start of it, where it's like he encompasses all that, but he's not even human. He is better than human, just like Greek gods.
Oh yeah, no. There's definitely no denying the mythological aspects of Superman's origins.
The archetypal hero.
Yeah,
But-
absolutely. Well, and here's what's actually interesting though is that we normally think back to the early Superman comics and think of like this for truth, justice, and the American way kind of thing. That whole shtick really actually the truth, justice, and the American way thing that wasn't until like late 40s, early 50s kind of thing that shtick started coming out.
America came along.
When
Well, it was all a response. It was the hero we needed.
Exactly.
In response to Captain America. Captain America was all about let's beat Hitler. He's the hero we need. We're gonna, fight instead of having Donald Duck plastered on the side of fighter jets. And then that was DC's response to it was, oh well, we have this guy. He was a minor newspaper strip character. And well, let's use him as ours, and he's the hero we need, and not necessarily the hero that we want anymore.
Every dollar spent is a round in your best man's gun.
Exactly.
Yep.
You know?
But the interesting thing, I was looking actually into the origin of Superman. And what's very interesting is that he did not start in the way that we normally think of Superman as that super, like very kind of like noble, lawful good kind of guy. He really starts actually as kind of an asshole. In the original comic books, he's depicted as throwing guys around in such a manner where they don't bring up the fact that like he's probably killed a couple of them, but there's suddenly less dudes being arrested and put into squad cars than were in the fight in the first place.
Right.
And the other interesting thing is Superman. The whole name for Superman, in my opinion, I'll get into it in a second. Superman actually started in just a science fiction story as a villain.
Really?
Yes, if you can believe it or not.
I can believe it.
Krypton who came to conquer us lowly humans?
wasn't even an alien. Human from the future and a telepath.
Ooh.
I actually like that a lot more than literally everything else I've heard about Superman.
Right? No, actually, I was reading this stuff. I was kind of like, whoa, this is a very cool sort of dude.
So,
and here's the other thing too.
Jimmy can't get over it.
no, I can't. I can't. That's awesome. That's the greatest story I've ever heard about Superman.
Well, that's the interesting thing about a lot of the heroes is that they start off as villains. Groot was a villain.
Yeah,
when
this
he
is
first
true.
started too.
This is true.
So and he's like
does no wrong.
Right, he's the most beloved after the movie, most beloved character ever. He only says 3 words, but everyone loves him. But he was originally
that's
an
a
even
villain.
more
Vin
adorable
Diesel
ant.
for ya.
It's
That's
true.
why
He's a Pokemon.
he's a polka ant. Polka ant.
Yeah.
But to go
okay.
back to it, a lot of the characters that we love, or to say that we are tired of Superman is one thing, but the fact that he keeps coming back speaks volumes of how much people love him still.
True.
But the fact that he
That's
starts
true.
off as a villain is very interesting too.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, like with the whole Superman deal of why I think a lot of our generation hates Superman. A lot of people nowadays don't like Superman or just like to rip on him because
he wasn't our generation's hero.
Exactly.
He's our parents'
well,
hero.
Exactly. That was around the time of day of like black and white. Like we grew up around a time that nothing is black and white anymore. It is gray. That's why we like our anti-heroes, but we also like supportive black and white heroes too, like, or supporting characters that are black and white just to add more flavor to the story.
But we like when they struggle too, like with Captain America.
Oh,
We
yes.
love that
Well-
he's struggling with his black and white
Well, I mean,
kind
even,
of justice.
Well, even talking about black and white characters like Rorschach from Watchmen,
Right.
he is totally
amazing.
struggling with black and white throughout that entire comic book because there are little subtle hints, little gay breadcrumbs, if you would, that Rorschach is gay.
Really?
There are little breadcrumbs. in
Yeah,
there.
I have
and I
definitely
can
heard
see,
this theory before.
I'm not.
He is constantly wearing this, like, in the comic book. Did you read it?
The black and white.
No, not that,
shifting
not
mask.
that. Have you read the comic book?
I skimmed through it at a buddy's house after seeing the movie.
In the
'cause my
comic
friends were like,
book-
"Oh, this is so much better." And then,
Well, you remember how, like, when the cops, like, apprehend him and they're like, he stinks? They say he stinks. It's not because he smells like trash or anything. It's because he's wearing this aftershave called Nostalgia by Adrian Veidt, who is Ozymandias in The Watchmen or the Crime Busters in that. It was an aftershave promoted towards homosexual males.
gotcha.
And
So,
there's also a point in the comic. He is very asexual character, but you can tell he's a black and white justice. Justice is this, crime is that. He's that type of character struggling with his own. He knows that he's wrong, but he's been at it for so long that he cannot like change his views. And there's a point in the comic book where he is like shaking Night Owl's hand, and it goes for a little too long.
So again, getting a bit back on track here with Man of Steel. So it's interesting that he starts as a villain because one of my major things with him And my major complaints is that Superman, even as he is today, is so much better set up to be a villain than he is a hero.
Right, because he's the
Agreed.
ultimate villain. He's
Agreed.
and seemingly unstoppable.
So
he's
much
that-
so that they've done this. In the video game Injustice: Gods Amongst Us, which is it's a fighting video game. You don't expect necessarily a lot of story out of fighting video games, although more and more they're actually coming around to doing that. But in Injustice, there's an alternate universe where the Joker killed Lois Lane, and Superman, in his rage, decided to just take control of the world once and for all, and just create this totalitarianism, absolute thorough rule. And essentially, like, the Justice League is kind of like in that universe working against Superman as vigilantes.
Hell yeah, I actually do enjoy that quite a
I mean,
bit.
that's awesome, and like it's an awesome concept idea. Another one that was made. When was this idea made? Like, when was this?
I'm trying to think. Injustice was
Within the decade, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Like, I mean, that's another thing is that we're coming up with all these different offshoots of the story, and most of the stories, I remember in when I watched Batman Beyond, Superman was a bad guy in the episode he appeared in.
Not exactly a bad guy. He was taken over by like an alien creature or whatever. But
That's true.
yes, but more or less, it was this new Batman. Not even Bruce Wayne. Punk-ass kid in Batman's costume.
Clone. He ended up being the clone.
Okay, let's not talk about the whole clone thing.
That was awesome.
No, that was not awesome. That was the laziest cop-out of all time.
No, it wasn't. I'm sorry. That was a mind fuck for me when I was a kid watching that. I'm sorry. He ended up being the clone of Bruce Wayne. That's pretty cool.
I don't know.
I think Time Portal would have been a bigger cop-out.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Anyway, regardless, the whole point being, like, of another thing why Superman sucks to our generation is because it was built on a generation where it was trying to replicate mythology of gods, of like special people with special powers above ours, but we are people that are trying to find that power within ourselves. Like, we want humans that overcome odds, that can become special,
Right.
So us and ourselves can feel comfortable and say, hey, I can become special too. Like,
we got another caller.
Yeah, we got a caller on the line here. Caller, go ahead.
What's going on, guys? It's Dustin.
Hey,
Dustin.
Alan, you're talking about Superman becoming the bad guy taking over the world.
Yes.
And that right there is the reason why I love Lex Luthor. Because if you think about what Lex Luthor's doing, he's not really a bad guy.
No.
He just hates the idea of Superman and what happens when Superman realizes that he's so much more powerful than everyone else and takes over the world.
This is an excellent point that I was going to get to at some point, but as long as we're segueing into now, thank you, Dustin, for bringing that point up.
Oh, absolutely.
Anytime he can open his mouth.
That's Sam's
That's what
boyfriend
she
Dustin
said.
on the line there. Thank you for calling him, buddy. I was going to get to this at some point. Lex Luthor, hilariously enough, even though Superman doesn't even make my top 50 for superheroes, Lex Luthor is one of my favorite villains of all time. And it's because he's a super sympathetic villain. And if you look at what he's doing, he's not evil intended half the time. He just is really trying to do the right thing and goes about it in kind of a fucked up way. But if you see it from his point, it kind of starts to make sense. There's a great graphic novel out there. There's actually two of them that exist in this way. One of them's called Luthor. One of them's called Joker. And they're both kind of comics from the perspective sort of the other side. And in Luthor, I love this. Superman is always shown with menacing red eyes. And it's just this great way of just displaying the fear that Lex Luthor has in his gut constantly when it comes to Superman. That, this guy is so much more powerful than everyone. How are we possibly going to control somebody like this?
There was also, correct me if I'm wrong, or if someone knows what this is. I don't know. I don't remember what the game was called. I think it was an online DC PC game where Superman was the villain. and actually Bruce Wayne was working with Lex Luthor.
That's a team.
And I forget what the game, which game it was, but yeah, the two you created your own DC hero to fight against Superman, and it was with basically Lex Luthor and Bruce Wayne pretty much being your boss throughout the game.
And that makes perfect. There's so many examples in comic books. I could be standing here looking up stuff all night of Bruce Wayne and Lex Luthor working together. So much so that in the common thing that happens in the progression of comic books is that LexCorp and Wayne Enterprises wind up becoming one and the same company in a lot of cases in the comic books because of how close Bruce and Lex wind up working together in a lot of cases.
Well, they have the same superpowers. Money.
This is very true.
Money and genius. Yeah.
Money and genius. Yes, good point, Dustin.
Yes, good call.
And ninja training in Batman's case.
He's definitely
mountains.
Yeah, Batman's definitely got a couple of legs up on Lex Luthor, for sure. But Lex Luthor in his own right he's extremely clever. He outsmarts Superman constantly. Although
every time.
Every time
because he doesn't die.
Because Superman, this is the other thing. He's this big, powerful hero. He is not all that smart.
It goes back to it's a big brain versus brawn kind of dichotomy.
It is,
which is what a lot of Batman villains have. You look at Batman versus Bane.
Oh yeah.
Toe to toe, no suits, no nothing.
That's
Bane
why
is gonna just wail on Batman. He's gonna have to outsmart him. That's what Lex does to Superman on a daily basis because he has to.
But that's what's cool about Batman too, because then he'll have Bane, and then he'll have someone like the Riddler, and it's fuck.
But the thing ultimately with Superman, in that regard, is that, and this is why we come to a character like Zod. And here's where you lose me entirely every time, comic book, movie, whatever the fuck it is.
Evil twin brother.
How does not that part. That part's fine. I don't give a shit. Whatever, fuck it. Here's my thing.
Bizarre.
How the fuck does Zod lose? Zod has every single superpower that
Without
Superman
the American
has.
spirit.
Without the American spirit.
The American spirit.
And
runs free through the cosmos like the spirit of the buffalo.
He doesn't wear red, white, and yellow.
But yeah, no, seriously, Zod should never lose to Superman. That's my biggest thing ultimately. Zod is a military general from Krypton who now has all the same powers as Superman, except he's actually smart. Okay, Kal-El is not completely stupid, but he's not really smart either. He's very much average intelligence. He's kind of clever in certain situations, but there's nothing too much to there. And he's going up against a military genius with the same powers and much less intellect, and he wins every time.
It's because the hero always has to win.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Because he's pure of heart, like
he has
Goku.
The power of good on his side.
He has the power.
And Bill.
Yes.
Kame.
Oh no, here it goes.
I'm very glad we did that.
Yeah. Okay, yes. And
Okay.
And of course, now we get to this end of the argument, the Superman versus Goku.
Goku's better.
I mean...
Just better as a character.
It's the hair.
It's the hair. It's totally the hair.
It's the hair. Goku wins.
Not only is it beautiful and spiky, but it changes colors.
Exactly. Without
Now the same old boring black.
True.
Goes to yellow.
Yeah, I'd like to see Superman become a blonde on a whim.
He can't. Then he'd be a Nazi.
Yeah.
Damned Kansas Nazis.
Damned Kansas Nazis.
But,
which is funny because Japanese can't. That's weird.
No, it's actually funny that Goku and Superman get brought up all the time because actually their list of superpowers are kind of similar in a lot of
very
ways.
Similar, yeah.
But Goku's more Zen and more Buddhist or...
Goku's more real. Superman is just impossibly...
And Goku's human, god damn it. No, he's not.
No,
damn it.
he's not.
Damn it, he's not human.
No, the consistencies between Goku and Superman are I mean, Superman is based off of like a lot of old myths kind of like twirled into one, and
he's the
Dragon
hero,
Ball
he's
is
gonna win.
I can't remember the actual myth's
No,
name, but it's based
Goku.
off of a very specific.
His name was Goku. His name was Goku. I forget what the story was
Yeah,
called.
but his name
it
is
was-
actually Goku. Yeah,
It was Goku.
Wukong the Monkey King was in China as an old folklore.
is that what it is?
Yeah, a monkey
okay.
came down from the skies, had a magic stick that would grow on command.
Yeah.
Yep,
rode
yep,
around,
yep, yep,
sailed
yep,
around
yep.
down a cloud. He was the Monkey King, and he was smarter than everybody else. Lots of tricks and whatnot, but
There was another story I remember, or another anime based off of that one that they did call him Goku or Monkey
that
Boy.
could just be like the Japanese translation of
Sayuki.
the term.
Sayuki with the
Sayuki
one
was
dude
based
with
off of
the
that,
with like
where-
the gun. Like,
Yeah.
and there's the dude with the dragon that turned into a jeep.
Right. It's about the monks trying to find scrolls and demons, and
Yep.
the Goku in that is
That was a
more
terrible
close to that
anime.
one.
Like,
yeah,
it
the
was-
manga was better.
Yeah.
Hey, Dustin, we got somebody else calling in here to make a comment, so we're gonna have to let you go. Thanks for calling again, and keep on listening.
Stay safe.
Oh yeah,
sir.
sure. Later, guys.
Peace out.
Thanks for
Bye.
calling. Have a good one.
What?
All right, caller, you are on the air. How's it going?
Hey,
Hello,
caller.
you there?
They were just there. They just hung up. I don't know what
You
happened.
lied to them, Alan. You lied to them.
Please call back.
They
Hey,
trusted
caller.
you.
We want to talk to you.
Yeah, we do want to hear.
You got
whatever
10
comment
seconds,
is.
caller, before
what?
things get weird and fucky.
No.
I need
10,
an adult. I
9,
need an adult.
8. I
Something-
am an adult.
All right,
6.
as long as as long as we're into weird, I promised that we were going to be talking about Superman's penis. So
That's right. He'd blow a shotgun load through Lois Lane.
yeah, and again, we're certainly not the first people to talk about this, but I think it's a very valid point, and it does not get brought up anywhere near often enough. In fact, I don't remember if anybody's ever really brought it up outside of Mallrats. To be perfectly honest.
no one has, except for me, like in common
Right,
conversation.
no, exactly. Like nobody else talks about this fact. Oh, hang on. I'm sorry. We got the caller back now. Caller, you're on the air.
You guys already figured it out. It's Goku, the Monkey King, who fell down and landed on the earth and was a wild child in the mountains.
Thank you.
thank
Caller,
you.
what's your name?
Jeremy.
Jeremy,
Jeremy,
thank
thank
you
you very much for calling in. Yeah, we did get there on our own, but thank you for trying to lend some assistance. We appreciate it.
But Goku versus Superman, I believe that's what you were talking about earlier.
Yeah,
Correct.
Not necessarily.
Goku would probably take it based on the fact that he always rises to any challenge, and that's really the entire idea behind Goku in the anime and the mangas, as it were, is he can rise to any challenge and overcome.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So,
Not to mention, even
though
Super-
Superman has got like unlimited power, Goku's the one force who's going to rise to it.
Also, not to mention,
Exactly.
if Superman fatally wounds Goku and he just eats a senzu bean, like being a Saiyan, he just gets 10 times more powerful.
Yeah, that whole you get
yeah,
more
that's kinda
powerful
cheating.
every time you almost die thing. Pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's the Saiyan attribute. I
Yeah.
mean, though we're not bitching about Saiyans, they're cool.
Saiyans are pretty sweet, man. I got no
It's
issue
those
with
assholes from
Saiyans.
Krypton that need to go home.
Yeah.
Oh wait, too soon.
But on, I think another comment is, we're talking about Superman versus Zod.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
that was
yeah.
discussed.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, stupidity can help for you, like in the case of like Raccoon. If you guys have seen DBZ, he's
Oh, of
stupid.
course
He just
we
takes hit, but he just keeps going blindly forward. Or Caboose from
okay, I see.
versus
So
Blue.
he's
So Zod's reluctance from experience could be his downfall in some of these instances.
If you're overthinking things, sometimes, taking advantage of the moment and just, as I believe Superman breaks his neck, he's just going for the kill, or he's just fighting, based on instinct, as opposed to
Gotcha.
trying to analyze constantly. And when you're at that high of a level of power, I don't know.
Just kind of that brutish instinct of just I'm going until I die.
Yeah, no, that's actually that's a fair point. I hadn't really ever looked at it in that way before, and that's I don't know if that totally convinces me personally, but that's a valid point for sure.
Well, I guess the one thing is, I don't know if he's ever had a opponent that pushed himself that hard before, being Superman.
Oh yeah, before Zod, yeah, he's the only one to really like go toe to toe with him. Like,
Yeah,
in the
this is
truest
true.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I unfortunately I don't know the full background of Superman and all his villains, though.
Well, it's
The villains are cooler than he is.
exactly.
Yeah,
is
in
what
a lot of
it
cases.
boils down to. That's pretty much what it boils down to. I mean, if any Superman villain that you need to look up, Brainiac, totally.
Oh,
Yes, yeah.
I am not familiar. What is he a nerd? I don't. I mean,
no, just look him up.
Is he here?
Just no. Is
he
maybe
in this room?
he might.
I mean, he could be, and if he is, we are all fucked.
Exactly.
Looking at you.
We are so fucked.
The producer.
The producer is Brainiac. Oh, god damn it. We're screwed.
I wasn't paying attention for the past
I
hour.
gotta say, I'm excited for Deadpool. I think
So
that's
we're
gonna
good,
be
it's
great.
Well, thank you for calling in.
Yeah, thanks for calling in.
Thank you guys. You guys, your podcast is awesome.
Awesome.
thank you so
Looking
much.
forward to
Tune in next
listening in
Tuesday.
again.
All right, thank you so much.
Thanks, man. Tune in next Tuesday.
have a
Yeah.
good night.
All right.
Have a great one.
You too.
You too.
Yeah, okay, so I did promise the listening audience some dirtiness here, so we are gonna talk
Superman penis.
We're gonna talk about this point because again, I don't know why it doesn't get brought up more often. Because in so many incarnations of Superman throughout the years, he has had a fucking child with Lois Lane.
Hogwash. Utter hogwash. Hogwash. That is just as likely as fucking a goddamn squid and making a human baby. Genetics. Just anything about genetics.
Okay, yeah,
all of it.
I mean, that's a great first point right off the bat there. My buddy just tried to call in here. Mr. Joji Raccoon from Austin, Texas. If you are still listening, give us a call on the actual show hotline at 630-599-RUBS. Go ahead and give us a call on that hotline if you're looking to come in with a comment here. But what we're talking about here, so yeah, he has babies with Lois Lane, which is just ridiculous from a genetic standpoint, as Bill was pointing out. Absolutely just what? How do you possibly? But let's say that somehow his sperm is super enough where it can like work out all the genetic kinks. Let's just go ahead,
Entertain the notion.
entertain that notion.
And again, that number is
Yeah, can we get can we actually get the telephone number here again from you?
630-599-RUBS.
Rubs. Could you actually
7827.
7827 is what spells out
630-599-7827.
59.
630-599-7827.
But yeah, so we're now entertaining the idea that somehow Superman's sperm can recorrect itself so that it works with Lois Lane's egg and can produce a baby, which fucking retarded and ridiculous. But whatever. Let's entertain that notion for half a second. How does he not kill this woman in the process?
Exactly.
Shotgun blast. That's all I'm gonna say. Think about it. If his super strength applies to all venues of his body, that includes downstairs, ladies and gentlemen, he is going to rip her apart from the inside.
Boner.
I mean, yeah, no, seriously.
The boner alone.
Like, he is gonna have to be going like for him what is like just super incredibly soft. Like, is it okay? And she's like, oh my god, you're killing me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Imagine like if where they were fucking while she was pregnant, it would kill the child.
Oh yeah. Oh well, just shaken baby.
Yeah, shaking babies.
Shaking babies.
That's my favorite pastime.
Shaking babies.
Yeah.
It's kind of an odd pastime.
When mom's not looking, I just go up to carriages and just shake babies.
What's your record here? How what's
I'm on
your
my
winning
third
streak?
drink.
I was talking about human lives, but
well, I'm sure a couple of them have, mental disabilities by now, but
oh good.
He leaves them alive. That's the important thing.
I keep a log. I check up on them every now and then just
Oh, that's sweet.
Cuz I'm Superman.
So I know my Google search on my phone is going to be super fucking weird after tonight because I'm just looking at all the shit we're talking about. Because I just Googled Superman Lois Lane sex comic.
Oh no.
It's not canon, but there is it's a fan made thing where they're about to get it on, and Superman drops his shorts, and Lois Lane freaks out because he's still alien. So she's like, "What the fuck is that? That is not what I think it is. Do not come near me."
Is it a manta ray penis? Do they show it? Do they ever
they
show
don't
it?
Not
No,
in
they
this
probably
comic.
they leave it up to the imagination.
They leave it up to the imagination.
You're not at the
But
right
Vinny
Google shirt
brought
because this
one.
is clearly Superman porn
And we don't
that
need-
we got
we
going right here.
Vinny brought it up. We don't need to link anything at all because
No.
you can just Google it.
Yeah.
The terror in my voice, I feel. should be
Some of that's
sort
not Superman.
Well, no, Lois Lane can be a he/she. You know? Oh, she's boning Lex Luthor in the butt with a strap on. What do you know?
Good for her.
And a ping pong battle.
But the tagline to this is, so she goes, what the hell is that? And he goes, my penis. Why? She says, it has pinchers. Why does it have pincers? He goes, to grab onto you? Like super perplexed that why is this not the normal?
No, evolutionarily that makes sense. Like whales have limbs that do nothing except hold on to who they're screwing. You know, so I mean,
It's- yeah.
But I could also see why multiple. Yeah, but
Oh, by the way, actually, on that note, we brought up Goku already. If anybody here follows Dragon Ball Z Abridged by Team 4-Star, they just a couple of days ago launched another episode.
Oh, did they? 49?
Yes. No, 48, I think it is.
Oh, I've already seen it. That was like a couple weeks ago.
No, that was it was published on
Was it
the
the one
31st.
we didn't watch?
Yeah.
We didn't watch.
We didn't watch
one.
this one.
Oh, okay.
We didn't watch this one. Yeah, it's the new one. Trust me, it's the truth. Yeah, So yeah, if anybody happens to be a fan of that show, and if you're just a fan of Dragon Ball Z at all, go check it out. It's so awesome.
It's the only way to watch Dragon Ball Z as an adult.
Oh,
they
really?
make fun of it while follow the storyline perfectly. They have a license to do this.
Yeah, this is how good it is. This thing started as a non-for-profit. They would make an announcement that they don't own anything at the beginning of the episodes, and they still do that. But it used to start with the tagline, "This is a non-for-profit fan parody," and they dropped the non-for-profit thing. They are actually
Jimmy
now can make
Virtuous.
money off of this. Their quotes and everything from the show are being printed on T-shirts and stuff. Vinny is continuing to look up Superman porn.
Wow. Jimmy, you don't need to see this, please.
Alan's
your
talking.
precious
He's
eyes.
not paying attention at all.
not even a little bit. Superman porn is on the other computer.
Well, I'm just shocked at the sheer volume of Superman porn. And because
There's like 118 pages of this.
Then each one's like from a different artist. It's not like one guy with a Superman thing who just makes Superman porn day in, day
There
out.
are thousands.
Apparently. And god damn.
But yeah, if you're into Superman porn, go ahead and look up some Superman porn. But if you're
God help
into
you.
Dragon Ball Z, not porn, check out the Dragon Ball Z Abridged by Team 4-Star on YouTube. Really, it's fantastic. They just launched a new episode a couple of days ago, so check that stuff out. I don't know, guys. Have we berated Superman enough for one evening? Have we kind of gotten to the crux?
Never.
Is there anything else that anybody's really dying and itching to get out?
One
about
thing,
him?
I am going to play devil's advocate. He is the one superhero that we can actually say is the most interesting because we do not understand his side of the story. He is not a human being. We don't understand that his secret identity is Clark Kent. He doesn't understand what it means to be a human being, but he is an orphan stranded on this planet, and he feels compelled to help us. However,
Like his alter ego's human.
I do have 3 words in response to that. Martian Manhunter.
Elaborate.
Oh,
I don't.
I'm just, if for anyone who's not familiar with Martian Manhunter, he's actually
is
got
pretty cool.
He's got a similar-ish backstory to Superman. He is an alien. He's not from Mars. He's just green, so everyone calls him the Martian Manhunter. But he's an alien. He came here, I think, when he was younger, not an orphan, but like kind of still in his youth, and kind of fell in love with the planet and decided to protect it ultimately. And for me, he is a far more interesting. He's got a much more cohesive set of like just kind of telepathic superpowers.
that was another hero that was not many people know about that was brought into the Justice League cartoon that came in like the early 2000s that you didn't watch.
Yeah.
And no one on the Justice League called him Martian Manhunter. No one ever referred to him as Martian Manhunter.
No, never.
They called him Jean.
Yeah.
Because that was his name.
That was his name. And it was just that anyone who saw him just called him the Martian Manhunter because he was this big green thing hunting men down.
But you're talking about like backstories and stuff. We still have, and I think that's the reason why I'm kind of tired of Superman too. Is I think it's like with the Spider-Man thing, where when the new Spider-Man, Marvel's got it. Shit, they're gonna do another origin story, and I gotta watch Uncle Ben die for the 50th fucking time. I don't want to see it. But
Oh God, no! I can. And on Batman note, I do not want to watch
the Kens die again for the millionth time.
the
Kents?
The Kents, not the Kents.
Waynes.
The Waynes. Yeah,
Well, the
Martha and
Kents died
Thomas
too, so
Wayne
whatever.
dying for the bajillionth time. Yeah, no, I think we actually have all seen that one. enough.
But there is mostly in TV too. They're
Okay, I just
so
found
confused.
the
They're
greatest
still looking up
Superman porn picture
Superman
of all
porn.
time.
I opened up Pandora's box.
Hang on, I gotta
That-
leave my camera and look at
What
It's,
the?
I opened up a box
It
and
appears
they
to have a
won't stop.
fist.
Does he
It's
have
awful.
pincers?
No, the dick has a fist.
It's,
The dick has a fist,
no,
people.
that's just his fist. It's a strange angle.
Oh,
But
but it
Oh.
has
That
a weird
is
tip.
crazy.
Yeah, I found a picture here of Superman with some like multi-penis fuck device with a giant dick up his ass and one in
Can
his
you
mouth.
can you actually
He's got
save
one of
that?
the-
I feel like we need to
But
put
he's
Something
that
is
on the
grabbing his nutsack
sorry,
like
at the
guys.
base.
like a steel,
At the base.
like a steel noose.
He's got a
Really?
he's got a nutsack ring,
Yeah.
and it's pulling tight around his nuts, pulling him out, like away from
What
his
do you
body.
think-
And
what
then
do you
he's
think
also
the test
getting
on that line is?
he's also getting zapped in the brain by whatever the hell these two antennas are. So there you go. And if you notice, they're pumping his jism into this clear round ball.
Oh my God! I
More
see it.
Superman.
I see it.
So they're
Nice.
That's what I
harvesting.
got.
His, yeah. Okay.
the harvesting of Superman's seed. A very very graphic picture there.
Okay, and there you have it,
Great.
ladies and gentlemen. Superman sucks.
Ladies,
I am Professor Weirdfuck.
I am Geekmeister, and thank you for joining us. Thank you, Bill and Sam, for coming and being on our panel. Thank
Thanks for having
you,
us.
Vinny, for producing the show. We are going to be here not next Tuesday, but the following Tuesday. We're here every second and fourth Tuesday of the month. We are the Geek for All show. Thank you very much for listening, and y'all have a good night.
And we are on the Overdose Talk Network.
Oh,
watch
yeah.
out! Watch out for us soon. We're gonna have a bunch of new shows, and come find the YouTube page. We'll have everything posted.
Good night, guys.
Night, guys.
Sucking
Playing
Superman's
Runaway
cock.
5.
Peace and hair grease.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good point.
Play
Let's
some music to take us out.
Yeah, let's do that, shall we? I am going to go ahead and put the Runaway 5 mixtape back on, and you folks all have a lovely evening.
Good night.
Bye, guys.
Soon.